Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and I'm here to review this SH.Figuarts Avengers Assemble Captain America. I was very excited about this figure when I first seen it announced. I was originally going to get the Endgame version, but as soon as this one was announced, I definitely held off for this one because even though it's a dirty version of the suit, I just really like the colors, and I think it's a lot more accurate to the actual suit, both in Avengers 1 and Endgame, other than the fact that it's dirty. That's actually one of the things I didn't like about Endgame is when you go back in time to this particular point in the movie, at the end of Avengers, it bothers me that the both versions of Captain America have a very clean suit when at the end of Endgame, or at the end of the first Avengers, his suit gets very dirty. So I wish that's something that would have been I wish that's something that they would have paid attention to, but it's not that big of a deal. Anyway, let's move this guy on back and let's take a look at some of his accessories. Here we've got this clean shield, which is very sharp. I really like this. You can see like a slight like dents in here because of like how this is put together. I don't know how that really happens. It's kind of weird, but I did notice this. It's not really a big deal. I barely notice it otherwise. I definitely don't notice it on this shield. This one's pretty cool. I like this one. I tend to have him with this shield more than I do with this one. The last couple of days I've had him with this shield, and I've had this shield on my Endgame Captain America. Just because overall I think this is a more accurate size shield. Just to give you an example. Here's the size of the shield that you get with Marvel Legends now. The previous Marvel Legends shield was also this same size. It had a few differences. And then, as far as I'm aware, the new Falcon Captain America shield, Sam Wilson Captain America, I believe that they're the same size. I know they're different shields, but I believe they're the same. There's a couple of problems I don't like about this shield. Like, the thickness of the rings is different. Like, this one's thicker than these two. They should be the same thickness. And then overall, the whole size is really big in my opinion. I feel like this is a much more appropriate size. I think the only thing that's less accurate about this one is how big the actual star is. I feel like the star area should be a little bit smaller. But for what it is, I think like as of right now, the ones that appear to be the most accurate that you can get. Well, you can't actually get it yet, but it looks like the Mafex Endgame Captain America has the most accurate shields. It looks like they're going to be closer to this size, but then the actual stars are a little bit smaller. So I'm excited about that, but I really like these SH.Figuarts shields. Now, these are actually different from the Endgame ones because the Endgame ones don't actually have the indentations in the star. But if you look at like a lot of the stills from Endgame, it really doesn't look like there's any indentations here. The movies where I've noticed that is Winter Soldier and also in Endgame. It's just the shield gets so dirty, or the details are so small that you can barely see those indentations. They're not as noticeable as they are in movies like the first Avenger or the first Avengers. But some other shield accessories that we get are these little straps right here. So basically what this is for is you can make it look like the shield is not being used, like the straps are just kind of collapsed, which is pretty cool. I like that. And actually, I'm just noticing right now for the first time that these sections are offset. There's more room on this side than there is on this side. I didn't notice that before. I don't know if that's something that's done on, I'm assuming it is. I don't know, I've never noticed that. Normally, we see them be much more in the center. So I've never noticed that before. Anyway, you can get this to look like the shield is collapsed. With a lot of other SH.Figuarts Captain America figures, they give you a system here where it can actually be clasped onto the back. But since there's not actually anything on the back of Captain America, there's not really any way for them to do that. So that's okay. He doesn't really wear the shield on his back in the first Avengers anyway. as far as I can recall. He might have it on his back in the scene where him, Black Widow, and Hawkeye are walking to the Quinjet, but I don't think he does. Anyway, they give you this piece right here. They give you this piece right here that acts as like a throwing or catching mechanism. Personally, for myself, I don't really like to use this as a throwing mechanism, and I'll give you a reason for that in a second. Basically, what you want to do is you're going to want to slide his thumb underneath here and then clip it on. The reason why I don't like this is because, well, first of all, it's not very strong. But if you really think about it, there's not... See, it already fell off. Where'd it go? There's not very many instances where you see Captain America throw his shield like this. There's only really one picture that I can think of, one scene, or one promotional image in particular where I can think of where Captain America throws his shield like this. And that is for the first Avengers movie. If you look at a lot of the different Blu-ray covers, you'll see him with his hand going across his body, and he's got like these really dead eyes. That's really the only image I could think of where he actually throws the shield like this. And I know some people are going to disagree with that, but I think that this is a better mechanism for catching the shield. He usually catches the shield like this and then slides it onto his other arm. There's some instances where he catches the shield all the way through, but for me, my favorite way to have him catch or look like he's throwing the shield is actually to do this. You use one of these hands, which has the gripping, him gripping the strap. Use one of these, and instead of putting it through the shield like this, right? So if you were doing it like this, then this is on the wrong side. God damn it. So if you were doing it like this, if you wanted him to hold the shield, obviously you would take this out, and then you'd put this strap in there, right? And then you could slide it onto his hand. But what I like to do is I like to keep this strap on here to look like he's not holding the shield, right? And then take this hand off and switch it around so it looks like he's throwing the shield from this position. Not only is this setup stronger than the setup with this, because as you've already seen it likes to come apart. I like this because it's not only stronger, but if you look at a lot of different stills from the movie, or you try to look at different footage and slow it down, it definitely looks like Captain America picks it up like this and throws it multiple times. The scene in the first Avengers where he picks up the shield off the ground when him and Bucky are on the bus, or on the train, he picks it up like this. Actually, he picks it up from this position. He picks it up and then throws it. So I like this a lot more. And then I like to use this for catching the shield. Anywhooser, we can put this back over. Actually, let me show you how to give you a little bit better idea how to put this on his arm. One thing that bothers me is I don't like the fact that the buckle is underneath his hand. I feel like it should be above. Like, I want to tend to put the buckle on top, but for some reason they sculpted it underneath the hand. That's the only thing that bothers me. Here we got his relaxed hands here. And then you want to take this and slide this through, almost like your Hot Toys figures. So that's how he holds the shield. Sometimes this wants to come undone a little bit, but it's not that big of a deal. It probably would be easier if you took this, attached it like this, slid this through the hand, and then attached the hand, and then you could just go ahead and go like this. I do it a couple of different ways sometimes. I don't really do it a set way. I I think I had this backwards. No, I didn't. What's going on here? Alright, so yeah, that's a pretty cool system. I like it. I like it a lot. It definitely, I'm more in favor to this. This is having a rough time here. I don't know what's going on right now. I definitely like this system a lot more than what we get with our Marvel Legends figures. Just to give you an example, if we bring back our worthy Captain America from Marvel Legends, we have these set straps, and basically, the majority of the time what you have to do is, this isn't even his hand. This is a Infinity War Captain America hand. But a lot of the time they just give you a fist, and basically what you have to do is kind of go like this with those other figures. You slide his hand through. Just imagine this being a fist. Usually you slide the hand through, so the hand, or the strap, is on his wrist, and then the other strap is lined up with his elbow. That's why I like to use these gripping hands. That way you can actually have him gripping the shield, so the shield is in a more accurate spot. But usually they don't give you these gripping hands to do that. And the gripping hand that he has on this one, of course you want to be able to hold Mjolnir with that, but you can't do that with a fist. So, you know, it's definitely a much better system that SH.Figuarts has, but it would be a little bit more if they did that with Marvel Legends. More money, I should say. Anyway, I like this system with the shield. I think it's cool. It's a little bit of a hassle right now, but it's not that big of a deal. It hasn't really given me issues. It's just because, you know, we're on camera. Things like to be difficult. But as for hands, though, we've got, I believe it was 6 set of hands. We've got some relaxed hands. We've got these action hands, or these shield throwing hands. So if you wanted to have him with this hand, and then maybe you're holding the shield in front of the camera right here, make it look like he's let go of the shield. Very, very nice. You get these gripping hands, which he doesn't come with anything to grip with, but if you have the SH.Figuarts Loki, then you can have him holding the scepter. You also get these shield throwing hands, or, oh, whoop, that's the wrong one. The shield throwing hands, or in my case, the shield catching hands. You get normal fists, and you get shield strap holding hands for either hand, as well as, this isn't a pair of hands, these are the same hand. These are both right hands. You get a pointer, and then this double pointer. So that's pretty cool. I do like the accessories that Cap comes with. It's definitely the most I've gotten with the Captain America figure. And this is pretty similar with what you would get with most Captain America figures. The only instances that I would assume that are different is obviously this hood piece, and then also usually you get something that can attach to the back. But for these other heads here, we've got actually, out of the box it's set up like this. You get a maskless Steve Rogers head, which they give you this little right here, this little hood thing, which if you wanted to make him look like Steve isn't wearing, he's got his hood over his back, which is how he looks through the majority of the movie. But if you want to actually replicate the scene, the end battle when he's got his mask ripped off, then you would just use the head with this system here, because he doesn't actually have the hood on after the Chitauri rips his mask off. But I think this is a really good likeness. I think it's very, very nice. And they're very accurate with the hair here. Is you can see that the bottom of his hair is actually brown, and then the top is the blondish gold color. He doesn't have gold, blonde hair through and through, which you see Marvel Legends do a lot. And then right here you can just see that that little cutout lines up with this peg. You slide that in there, and that looks pretty nice. So I think that's pretty cool. And then your next head here is your dirty head, Get a little bit of grime on there. I believe these are the same sculpt. It looks to be. And then my favorite heads. We've got this gritting head with the helmet on there. Very, very sharp. This is actually my favorite Captain America suit, believe it or not. I know a lot of people don't agree, and it's because of this helmet. But I think in figure form, I think in particularly with this SH.Figuarts figure, I think this helmet looks incredible. Looks very, very sharp in my opinion. But we've got this helmet going on here. I think it looks just like Chris Evans. The skin tone is a little bit yellow in my opinion. I think that's really SH.Figuarts' only really problem is they like to make their head sculpts just a little bit yellow. But it looks very, very accurate to Chris Evans in my opinion. I see it through and through. It's a little bit more of a rounder face. I think a lot of people's problems, whether it's third-party customizers or big companies, they like to make Chris Evans very chiseled. And Chris Evans isn't a man out of shape in any instance, or I just lost my words there, but he's got much more of a rounder face, even though he's very chiseled and he looks like it. Even go back to the first Avenger when he's at his biggest, he still has somewhat of a round face. He just carries a little bit of extra weight in his face, and that's probably one of the reasons a lot of people don't like this particular helmet, is because it accentuates that a little bit. It's a little bit more grippy around the cheek area. But when you don't go as hard with as chiseled with the details, it looks a lot more like Chris Evans. But anyway, I gotta say that this paintwork is phenomenal. I think this is a very good example of what weathering should look like. Battle damage, well, it's not really battle damage, it's just, a little bit of grit on there. The only thing that bothers me is that none of the hands really have any sort of paintwork on them at all. They're all kind of plain, which is a little bit weird. I would definitely expect the hands to be among the dirtiest part of the suit. But the paintwork is very, very, very nice. I really do like it. So for the articulation, I will show you what it looks like with this setup on the head too. But first off, we've got a neck joint and a head joint here, and with them both combined, you can look up this far, you can look down this far. Actually, that's with both of them combined. You get a lot of head pivot in there. Of course, you get side to side with both joints, and then this one you can also go all the way around. And then moving this, alright, come on, you can take it easier. Now popping this other setup into the head. It goes back this far, forward this far, very, very sharp. Again, you get this side-to-side action. This one has a little bit less neck pivot. And then head side-to-side. And then just one more example. If you wanted it to be a little bit more accurate to the end of the battle, like I was saying earlier, then you'd want to put this piece back in with the neck. And then I'll show you this combined head articulation. So with this setup here, see, this is a little bit finagly because this neck piece likes to hide sometimes. But you can go back this far with the combined two. Forward this far. And then this time you get a little bit more neck pivot. And then of course you can go side to side with that one as well. And you've got this awesome arm articulation that goes up all the way, as far as you'd need in my opinion. Of course you get a 360 here. You get a little bit of a butterfly joint coming inward. It doesn't really go backwards that much, but then you also get this shifting because of the ball joint, so you get a lot of different natural movements coming from there. as well as a shoulder bicep swivel kind of thing going on here. You get the double jointed elbows, very, very nice. And then you get this hinge here, but as well as the hinge, you get a swivel and a rocking, because this isn't actually a peg, this is a ball. So you get a lot of different movements from that as well. And then with your diaphragm joint, you get to go back, looks like about that far, forward, get that side-to-side movement. You get a lot of rocking. And then with the combined two, looks like you can go that far forward, and you can go back really far. And you get a lot of pivoting from both of them. And then that swivel side to side. And then the legs drop down. So you can bring the legs down, and then they come out this far. Very nice. It goes back this far. If you want to bring those back in. It doesn't, if you pull it back, it kind of just drops down on its own. And then forward. You get that. So that's very nice. Thigh swivel, get some double jointed knees, and then you get wrists. Your ankles can go all the way around. They can hinge up this far. Actually, I think this is just a ball. Yeah, so that's just a ball. So they can go up this far and go down that far. They don't really go inward that much, but they do go outward a decent amount. And then you get the toe articulation. So there's not a whole lot of ankle movement, and there's not a whole lot of crunching forward. But I think for the most part, this guy's got very nice articulation, and I haven't really had a problem trying to get him in any poses. I've had a lot of fun with this figure, and he's definitely my favorite Captain America in the collection. Not only because of the suit being my favorite suit, I just think that the figure comes with a lot of different stuff that's very fun. A lot of cool accessories. The engineering on the figure is very, very nice. Paintwork, everything. It's just a great piece through and through. Now, if you want to get a good idea of what this guy looks like scaling up with some other figures, to give you a Marvel Legends counterpart, we brought this guy in a couple of times, so why not one more? Here he is next to your Marvel Legends Captain America. Keep in mind that your Marvel Legends Captain America is a little bit shorter than some of the other Captain Americas. We'll do the separate lines together. So here he is next to a Marvel Legends Thor. Not a fan of that, so we can get him out of here. Marvel Legends comic book Spider-Man. Not perfect. Spider-Man really shouldn't be that much taller than Cap, but if you did want to use this as a comic Cap, I think there's some figures that it would look good with. Here we're going to get some into the more higher end figures. Here he is next to a Rebel Tech comic Spidey. That's a little bit better in my opinion. Now, we got a Mezco here, a Mezco Thor that I'm working on. That's pretty good, you know. I think this right here is a nice blend between how tall. Okay, so like Thor's tall, like he is in the comic books. I think this is a nice blend of having Thor be taller than everybody else, but he's not a giant. You know what I mean? In actuality, Chris Evans is 6 foot and Chris Hemsworth is 6'3", so this is definitely more than 3 inches. I said in my last video that Chris Evans was 6'1". I made a mistake with that. But your Robert Downey Jr. is 5'9", but in the movies, he's not supposed to be that tall. But for these two, or he's supposed to be taller than that. In the movies, for these two, they don't appear to be that different in size. I think they should be a little bit closer than this, like around here. But I think that this works out well enough where you can fudge it in the display. For myself, I think it's a little bit too much, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's go ahead and show you what he looks like compared to his own line. We've got a SH.Figuarts Avengers Infinity War Hulk. Very nice. Looks like he comes up right underneath his pec. Here we have a SH.Figuarts Iron Man Mark 85. Iron Man looks to be a little bit taller. I think his legs are extended slightly. I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember. Next up we have a SH.Figuarts Spider-Man Far From Home Spidey. I like that. And then next up is your Marvel Legend, or whoops, my bad. Your SH.Figuarts Loki. Keep in mind Loki's legs are extended right now, I believe. Hold on, let me get this. So there's your Loki. Loki should be, Loki's 6'2", I think. So he should be 2 inches taller than Captain America. But, it's not that bad. I mean, I'm not that upset about it. At the end of the day, I think they look nice next to each other. I think this would be very cool in Avengers 1 display. Technically, in this case, this would be closer to Endgame because the way that I have Loki set up here. And actually, I kind of did this on accident, but if you want your cape to be kind of coming in a little bit more, it looks like the cape is caught up on the end here. So I guess if you wanted to just do that, to kind of hook it under, just to get this cape to sit in a little bit more, that would be cool for pictures above like the waist. And like right here it looks a little bit weird, but maybe if you wanted to bring the camera in and do that. I took some pictures on my Instagram last night, but I actually had a twisty tie going around the waist here to bring the cape in. You couldn't see it in the picture. Anyway, guys, that's a wrap. Sorry for such a long video. I got a lot of things I wanted to say. But if you guys liked the video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And of course, until next time, true believers.